You know that moment you're in a tough conversation, things are getting intense, and just when you expect a response, you get nothing. Just silence. It's confusing, right? It can even feel infuriating. Well, today, we're going to get into the psychology of why some people go quiet when they're hurt. We're going to look past that quiet exterior and find out what's really going on inside.
And that's the big question, isn't it? It's a reaction that we so often get wrong. We see this blank expression, and our minds just start racing, filling in the blanks. And let's be honest, we usually assume the worst. But the truth is actually way more complex and, a lot more human than you might think.
So this is where the big misunderstanding happens. On the outside, what we see is silence, and we think, oh, they don't care, or this is a sign of weakness, or maybe even that they're secretly fuming. But what's really going on under the surface? It's often an act of self-protection, a period of intense internal processing, or just a state of pure emotional overwhelm.
Yeah, we tend to see this silence as a giant wall they've put up. It feels personal, like this massive barrier designed to shut us out. But what if it's not a wall at all? As we're about to find out, what looks like a wall from our side is actually them creating the space they need for something really important to happen on their side.
And here it is. This is the idea that just flips the whole thing on its head. That silence, it's almost never a sign that they don't care. In fact, it's usually the exact opposite. It's a sign that the emotions are so huge, so intense, that they're literally struggling to deal with them. It's not that they don't care, it's that they care so much, the emotional volume is cranked all the way up to 11.
Okay, so let's break down the first big reason for going quiet. And it's crucial to get this. Silence isn't always an offensive weapon. A lot of the time, it's a defensive one. Think of it less like a sword they're swinging at you and more like a shield they're holding up.
This really gets to the heart of it. This is not about being empty or void of feeling. No way. The silence exists because the feelings are so powerful. It's like a subconscious emergency brake the brain pulls when it senses the danger of even more emotional pain.
So, why do they need this shield? Well, for a few reasons. First, maybe their past experiences have taught them that speaking up when they're hurt just leads to more pain or getting dismissed, so their brain just learns that silence is safer. Second, they might have learned that talking doesn't actually lead to being understood. They feel like they're shouting into the void, so why bother? And finally, there's that very real fear of making a bad situation worse. They're so hurt that they're afraid the wrong words will come tumbling out, so they figure it's better to say nothing at all.
But it's not just about protection. Silence is also a sign that there is some serious work happening behind the scenes. It's not passive at all. It's a very active internal process.
You see, for some people, when they're deeply hurt, the feelings are just a tangled mess. It's not that they have nothing to say, it's that they have everything to say, all at once. Imagine trying to read 100 books at the same time. The feelings are so overwhelming that trying to find the right words to describe them feels absolutely impossible in that moment.
Think of it like this. Silence is just one step on a much longer journey. First, they're hit with a raw emotion. The natural next step is to retreat into that quiet space. But that's not the end. That silence is where they can start to analyze what's going on inside. And only after they've done that work can they even begin to find the right words. Trying to rush that process, it's like trying to have a calm conversation in the middle of an earthquake. It just doesn't work.
Okay, so let's put it all together. Once you understand that silence is both a protective shield and a mental workshop for processing emotions, well, then you can start to see what pretty much everyone else misses. You can finally look beyond that quiet surface.
And this is the great paradox, isn't it? What we see on the outside looks calm, unaffected, maybe even peaceful. But that is often the complete opposite of what's happening on the inside. Just because they aren't yelling doesn't mean they aren't deeply, deeply affected. What looks like peace from the outside can actually be a raging emotional storm on the inside. That calm exterior is just the container for a person who is completely and totally overwhelmed.
So, I'll leave you with this question. The next time you're faced with that silence from someone you care about, what are you going to choose to see? Will you see a cold, hard wall meant to shut you out? Or will you see a shield held up to protect a deep wound, creating the quiet space they desperately need to start to heal?